Good morning, campers. Welcome back to SnowRunner. This is going to be a nice quick one, I hope, where we're just going to run through all the different trucks that you can unlock in the state of Michigan. Because I was just noticing a lot of people aren't really using the default trucks very much, so I just kind of wanted to give a quick rundown, like what I think of all the different trucks you get. This is the first one you unlock. It's part of the tutorial, so it's kind of hard to miss this one. This is the GMC MH9500. So this is the first truck you unlock in the game. It starts out with just a standard flatbed on the back of it, sideboard bed. It's pretty good, all things considered. It doesn't start out with diff lock, or you can't get all-wheel drive for it within the state of Michigan. All of the upgrades I have here are obtained in Michigan. I haven't been to Alaska yet on this profile, so if it's on this truck, you can get it just from playing without going to Alaska. So we're also level 15 in the game. So that's any of the upgrades you see here are obtained before then. You can get a decent snorkel for it pretty early. And once you put some decent tires on this thing, it's actually pretty capable. Also, of the trucks you find on the first map, this one is the best semi-truck. You can put a fifth wheel on it, and it'll actually perform quite well in hauling semi-trailers. So that would be the saddle low add-on. As you can see, it can hold pretty much all of the different add-ons. I don't see any that are missing, but it can hold all of the standard backs, and it'll do relatively well with all of them. This is a good all-arounder. It just, if you get into some deep mud without something to winch to, you're going to have problems. But again, this one is the most capable semi-truck that you're going to have in the first map without finding anything else. So as far as where you unlock it, you will find it on the map. We're going to orient this with north up. It's going to be right here near the lumber mill, which you should just find it during the course of the tutorial. So if you missed that, nothing I can do to help you there. Second truck you unlock is most likely going to be the Fleetstar F2070A. This is an older 70s style international truck. And in real life, a lot of these became semi-trucks, but in this game, this one does not make a good semi-tractor. And the reason for that is this overhang on the back. If you come down to the low saddle, the fifth wheel ends up between the axles pretty far up the frame. So you've got a lot of overhang of the frame behind it. So if you try and pull a semi-trailer with it, you're going to end up hitting your own trailer every time you go over a small hill. If the truck tries to bend forward relative to your trailer, you're going to find your steer axle coming off the ground a lot. So this one doesn't make a great semi-truck, but it is your most capable off-roader truck in the first map. And it'll probably end up doing most of the work for you. Slap a flatbed on this thing and a crane, and it can do pretty much anything. And it's also very good at towing other trailers. Any trailer that's not a semi-trailer, that is. Honestly, I used this one to, there were a couple missions in the first map where you need to get some items out of some pretty deep mud holes, and this truck is able to do that with relative ease. You can get a snorkel for it pretty early on. The best snorkel, not available for this truck, but the short round cap works just fine on this one. If you want extra lights, there don't appear to be any that go on top, so you'll need to get this upgraded bumper to add extra lights onto the front of it, and believe it or not, that does help in the game. More lights, and your high beams will work better. It does have both diff lock and all-wheel drive. You'll need to find one or two of those as upgrades for it, but once you do, this truck can go pretty much anywhere on all these maps. And if you put good tires on it, you'll still be using it at the end of the Michigan run. And you might even want to bring this one into Alaska, honestly. Now, as far as unlocking it, you will literally find it right outside the garage when you unlock it. So if you missed it, it's going to be parked right about here. You do have to hop into it and either recover it or tow it to the garage entrance and then hit the X button, or what is that, square, I think, on a PS4 controller. No idea what it is on a PC. You're out of luck there. I assume y'all can figure it out. Probably have Xbox controllers or something you can use if you can't. If you haven't figured out how to get into the garage and you're watching this video, I think you've got bigger problems. But anyway, the next truck you can find in this map is the Chevrolet Kodiak C70. This one's not quite as capable as the other two trucks, and honestly, a lot of people end up just selling it for something better. But if you stick a flatbed or the sideboard bed on it, you'll actually find it can be pretty effective. It's not great at towing anything, since just like with the Fleet Star, it has a lot of overhang from where the fifth wheel goes on the frame, which makes it not as great at pulling semi-trailers. And honestly, with that single axle, it tends to bounce a lot if you hook up any trailers to it at all. Even the smallest trailer you can get, the sideboard trailer, if you load the thing, it's going to be bouncing all over the place. And honestly, you can see how far it sinks down when you stick the fuel container on it. It's not great at hauling any of the heavy back ends. And also, just noticing it doesn't have the maintenance. Now the van, it has the van body add-on, and it can take the fuel tank, but it can't take the service back end, the yellow one that has both the fuel tank and the repair for some reason. But if you just put the flatbed or the sideboard bed on it, it can haul cargo relatively well on its own. And even without having all-wheel drive, it's just, I think you need Alaska for all-wheel drive. Yeah, you need to go to Alaska for that, which I haven't done yet. Even without that, and without the diff lock, it can go a lot of places on this opening map, though you can get diff lock. Oh, it starts with diff lock. Okay. So it starts with diff lock, and it can get a surprisingly large number of places on the Michigan maps. Just, again, you don't want to take it into any deep mud where you can't winch yourself out. As far as where you will find it, this truck... Oh, I've gotten the map turned around. This truck will be found in this lake right here. You don't need to do anything special to unlock it. Just get close. You can jump in and recover it to your garage. Or for the extra challenge, you can try and pull it out of there. I'd recommend the Fleet Star for that if you haven't bought anything bigger yourself. The last truck you unlock in the first map is going to be... Someone's actually watching this on Twitch. Last truck you unlock in the first map is going to be the International Scout 800. This is one of the more capable scout vehicles in the game, especially if you're not using the con. This is going to get a lot of places very easily. You can get a small snorkel for it and eventually some pretty beefy mud tires. But the thing that makes this truck really stand out is the fact that you can put so much stuff on the roof. It is pretty top heavy and prone to rolling over, but when you've got this roof rack on it, it has enough fuel in it to go... I literally drove this truck from the garage in Smithville Dam through both of the other maps, the third and fourth maps on the Michigan region, without having to stop for additional fuel until I got to the far end of the third map, of the fourth map. So this thing can go pretty far without needing a fuel tanker. If you just use the roof rack, which is pretty handy. Also, it can do a little bit of repairs for other vehicles if they are damaged out in the field and hard to get to. And it's relatively skinny, so it can go a lot of places that other trucks can't. But again, pretty top heavy and prone to tipping over, so you might want to put the autonomous winch on it so that you can winch yourself out even if you are upside down, because you will be upside down a lot. As far as where to find it, this truck is located up on the hill west of town, in front of this little house above the gateway to Smithville Dam. You'll be doing missions that require you to go to the boatman's house, and that is right at the bottom of that hill. So you just keep going up that road, past the boatman's house, and you will find the Scout 800. Again, that's one of the ones that you can just jump in and recover to your garage, and it is yours. But you can also just tow it all the way there for a little extra challenge. It's late. I'm having trouble talking. Anyway, that's all 4 of the trucks that you find on this map. And we are going to hop to Smithville Dam. So this garage is the only other garage in Michigan. So all of your trucks from this map, as well as... Oh, I messed that up. All of your trucks from Smithville Dam, Island Lake, and Drummond Island are going to end up in the Smithville Dam garage. So we're going to look at all of those here. Just before we jump into the garage, you want to notice that this GMC, as far as I can tell, you repair it for a mission and it just sits there. You can't drive it. No idea why, but I don't know if that's a bug or if that's how it's meant to be. The text for that mission kind of implies that someone else is going to be taking the truck. So it's still sitting there for me, and I can't drive it, even though it shows up on the map as a truck. It is grayed out, and you aren't able to get in it. What? And apparently I left... Those are just floating in midair. That's good. some service spare parts there. Anyway, we're going to hop into the garage here. Quick loading screen. We got 4 more trucks to cover, so sit back and wait with me. So these maps are where you get all the really good trucks. And we're going to start with my favorite, I think. Nope. Whoops. Okay, so we're going to start with the white Western Star 4964. This is a fantastic truck. As you can see, I've got a 5th wheel on it. I use it as a semi a lot, but you can put literally any of the back ends on this thing, and it will perform above and beyond expectations. Once you unlock this thing, it can easily replace the Fleet Star as your go-to off-road truck for pretty much any situation. And it's a much better all-rounder than the Fleet Star because, of course, this thing can haul semi-trailers with no issue. The axles are set pretty far back, so it's got a decent turning radius that can make navigating some of the narrower areas a little bit tricky. But if you're good with the winch and good with the truck, you shouldn't have too much trouble. But yeah, this thing has had the crane on it. I've done this thing as a fuel truck, a repair truck. It can do pretty much everything. Though I noticed it can't hold the seismometer. So you're not going to get the seismograph sensors on this thing, but it can do pretty much everything else. And honestly, I really like this as a semi. Decent snorkel too, but anyway, this one is one of the more difficult ones to unlock on the Michigan map. You will find it on the Smithville Dam. It is located down here. So it'll be on this path below the dam, and I think you can start the mission near the truck when you find it, but you can't just jump in and recover it. So you'll want to bring repair and fuel down with you when you go to get it, and then you're going to have to tow it from this path all the way back to the garage. The shortest route is, of course, right back up this hill, but thanks to some rocks, this is actually pretty difficult. So you'll need something that's pretty beefy in order to pull the truck up the hill. If you repair it before you do, the truck will have its engine running and be trying to pull itself up the hill as well, which will make things a little bit easier. But I've also heard from other folks that they find it easier to go up through these woods to get to the road instead of trying to go up between the rocks. So that might be something you give a try too. Or if you feel like doing it the long way, you can try this route, which seems a little more straightforward, but looks like it also has some similar rocks. I got it up this hill myself, so it is possible. It's definitely doable. I got it between these rocks using the International Fleet Star. So good luck with that. It's worth it. That truck is fantastic. Next on the list, this is the Western Star 6900 Twin Steer. There's not a lot of options on this truck. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. You find it and repair it in the field, and then it is yours to own. You don't have to tow it anywhere. You just have to fix it up where it is sitting in the field. And then it's got decent gearbox, decent tires. You can put mud tires on this one, which you can't on a lot of the other ones, but it's just a flatbed. It is good for transporting cargo and not much else. So it's got 4 slots on it, so it can hold 2 of the large cargoes or 4 of the small cargoes. It cannot hold the oil rig drill because that takes up 5 slots, so you'll need a semi for that. But pretty much anything else that you need to deliver, you can do with this truck. It's surprisingly capable. I used it during the final mission to deliver the 2 metal pipes to the last delivery area. But other than that, I haven't used it too much, and a lot of the upgrades for it are locked in Alaska. So, I don't know. I didn't really use this that much, but you might find it a little more useful. It's difficult to get to, and that's because it is not located on the Smithville Dam map. It is located on Island Lake. So you will actually find it here in the northeast corner of the map near this house. It'll just be sitting out in front of, I don't know what this white cone is supposed to be, but the truck will be sitting right here. You'll get a mission to just fix it in place, and then once you do, the truck is yours. So bring some fuel, bring some service parts, and then from there you can drive it back to your garage if you so desire. Next up on the list is going to be the Pacific P16. This truck is another one of those really specialized trucks. The only add-on you can put on the frame is going to be a high saddle, which means that you can use this to tow those monster-sized trailers, the construction rig trailers in the Michigan map, and I think there's like an oil rig or something in Alaska that I think is on one of the really heavy trailers as well. And also I think on the Black River map there is a large fuel tanker that you can also haul with this thing. But this truck, it's just sheer power. It is an old style truck and it can go pretty much anywhere. It only has four-wheel drive on it's a 6x4 powertrain. It has a permanent diff lock that you don't need to upgrade. It's always on at all times, and it is a lot of raw power, though you might want to upgrade the engine as soon as you can, because that brings it up to the B+ power to weight ratio. It is a heavy truck, and it has some trouble getting some of the heavier trailers up small hills, but it's able to brute force its way through some pretty rough terrain even without having all-wheel drive, which is impressive, and makes it really fun to do some of those serious heavy haul missions with this truck, since that's pretty much all it's designed to do. But it can also tow regular trailers, so it can get a lot done even without a semi-trailer on the back. Also, weirdly, this truck can't hook up to the lowboy trailer, which is the only high saddle trailer that you can buy at the trailer store. This thing can't move that for some reason, even though it has a high saddle attachment. That trailer it can't hook up to. Not sure why, but you know, I guess that's a balancing thing, so you can't haul too much cargo with this. But anyway, you will find this truck on the Drummond Island map. It is located in the southeast corner of the map, parked in front of these trailer homes, next to the Race with Rain mission. It's kind of just a little bit east of the fuel station, not too hard to get to. And once you have that truck, I literally stumbled on it pretty early in the Drummond Island map, and using trailers that were scattered around Drummond Island, managed to build all of the different bridges using just that truck. So it's a pretty capable truck. And then, of course, you can use it to haul the construction rig trailer out of the port, which is what I did in the last mission myself. So great truck, great all-rounder, put some decent tires on it. Actually, I think it comes with... I think it only has a small number of tires. Yeah, it's got off-road tires right off the bat. So it's really well set up. Not a whole lot of upgrades you can do to it. Yeah, it's got its own special gearbox, the one you can update in Alaska. And one of the engines is also in Alaska. So not a lot you can do with it. And that's level 19, so you're probably not going to get that before you finish Michigan, unless you're going to Alaska and Russia as well. But honestly, it sits so high out of the water, you don't really need a snorkel. I've forded some pretty serious rivers with this thing and had no issues with taking damage. Really capable truck just right off the bat as soon as you find it. And the last truck we're going to look at is the least capable truck in all of Michigan. This is the International Transstar 4070A. This truck... Pretty much the only thing this thing is good for is driving around on roads. You can put some off-road tires on it, and that gives it a little bit of versatility as far as driving around off-road, but you don't want to take this thing in mud at all. It makes a pretty good semi-tractor. You can move fuel trailers and stuff around with it, but again, it has a lot of trouble if you get off-road with it. I liked setting it up with just a fuel tank on the back, which... worked out surprisingly well. It really sinks low on the frame when you put that fuel tank on there, but it's able to drive without too much issues. Though it does take a little damage anytime you hit a rock. So be real careful with this one. It's more for looks than actual utility, but it does have the advantage of having a really short frame. So if you're having trouble moving any semi-trailers around the map just in terms of how much space you have to maneuver, this truck has the shortest wheelbase as far of any of the semi-trucks that are just capable road semi-trucks. So this might be useful for you in a couple of niche circumstances if you're trying to move semi-trailers across the twisty mountain road on this map. It's got a really good power to weight ratio, mostly because this thing is just extremely lightweight. This truck it's just kind of sad, honestly. I love it, but it's more for looks than anything else on this map. And again, it does make a good fuel tanker, but a lot of people end up just selling this one. So if you want to unlock it, you will find it buried in the mud. Because obviously someone had a lot of trouble with it. It is buried in the mud right around here on the map out in this swamp. So that's south of the dam, between the two tunnel exits from this map. So good luck getting it out of there. It's another one of those ones you can just jump in and transport to your garage instantly without having to do any major recovery with it. But, you know, it's kind of a fun challenge to try and get that thing out of the mud. I managed to tow it all the way up the hill to the road before I gave up and recovered it to the garage. But it's certainly tricky getting it up this hill with pretty much anything. So good luck with that. And that's gonna do it for all the different trucks in the Michigan map. All of these you can find, and they are... You can absolutely beat every level in Michigan using only trucks you find on the map without having to buy any new ones. They're all fairly capable trucks, and some of them can even surprise you. So good luck. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day. You can find me on Twitter at ElioDare, or live streams twitch.tv/ElioDare. YouTube, just look for ElioDare on YouTube and you will find me. My name's pretty unique, so I'm pretty easy to find. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.